All right, let's talk about something most of us have in our wallets, but maybe don't fully understand: the credit card. Is it this amazing key to financial perks, or is it just a quick way to get into a ton of debt? Well, here's the thing: the answer really just depends on you. So let's dive in and unpack this paradox together.
Now, take a look at this quote. It says, credit cards are for those who don't need credit. That sounds completely backward, right? I mean, what's the point then? But trust me, just stick with me here because by the time we're done, you'll see why this is probably the most important thing to ever know about credit cards.
See, every single time you swipe that card, you're doing more than just buying something. You're actually making a choice. You're basically stepping onto one of two completely different paths. One of those paths, it leads to some pretty sweet financial benefits. But the other one, well, that one can lead straight to a financial disaster. So, on one side, you've got the smart user. This person is literally guaranteed to profit every time they use their card. And then on the other side, you have the careless user, who could be walking right into a catastrophe. But here's the crazy part: it's the exact same piece of plastic that creates both of these realities. It all just comes down to how you play the game.
Okay, so how do you make sure you're on the winning team? How do you become that smart user? It's actually way simpler than you might think. It all boils down to following one single unbreakable rule. And here it is. This is the golden rule. Only spend money that you already have. If you can't pay it off in full right now with the money in your bank account, don't buy it. If you can just stick to that one simple idea, you are guaranteed to come out on top. You'll get all the rewards, all the points, all the convenience, and none of the risk.
But, and this is a big but, that golden rule comes with a condition, a non-negotiable one. You could even call it a proviso, which is just a fancy term for a condition that changes the whole deal. And when it comes to credit cards, this one condition is everything.
So what is this proviso? It's simple. You must absolutely pay your bill on time. Not just usually on time, I mean every single time. This isn't just a friendly tip from the bank, it's the very heart of the agreement you made. The second you break this condition, that helpful little tool in your wallet starts to morph into a really dangerous trap. So what happens if you break the rule? What if you overspend a little one month and you can't pay the whole bill when it comes due? Well, this is exactly where that path forks, and one of those forks leads to some pretty scary territory.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What are the actual consequences? The moment that due date blows by without a full payment, a whole bunch of financial penalties start to kick in. And believe me, they are designed to hurt.
First up, you get slammed with an absolutely staggering annual interest rate. We're talking anywhere from 36 to 48%. To put that into perspective for you, that's about 3 to 4% per month. That's how a small balance you couldn't pay off can suddenly explode into a massive, overwhelming debt.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. On top of that huge interest rate, they also charge you an 18% GST. Just let that sink in for a second. You are paying tax on the interest you owe on your debt. This is almost unheard of with any other kind of loan. It's basically a penalty on top of a penalty. So this all brings us right back to where we started. When you look at these two totally different outcomes, either you're guaranteed to profit or you could fall into a crippling debt trap, it really makes you ask, who should actually be using these things? Our source material gives a really direct warning on this. It says, do not use credit cards to pay for your shauk, your wants, your luxuries, the things that are nice to have but you don't actually need. Because if you start financing your wants with debt, you're putting yourself on a fast track to a future where you'll struggle to even pay for your basic needs. And suddenly, that paradox from the beginning makes perfect sense, doesn't it? A credit card is supposed to be a tool for convenience, for someone who already has the money sitting in their bank. It's not meant to be a loan. So if you need the credit to afford something, you're the exact person who is most at risk of falling into the trap. So here's the final question, and this one's for you to think about. I want you to look at your own wallet, at your own habits. Is your credit card just a convenient tool that helps you make purchases you were already going to make? Or is it a trap just sitting there waiting for that one missed payment to spring shut? Because as we've seen, the choice is, and always has been, entirely yours.